Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Monday Momentum Coaching. My name is Dorisa with August Consulting Group. I hope that you've all had a great weekend and you're ready to get your week kicked off in a positive manner. Today, we're going to discuss how to be a leader that gets people to stay with them year after year after year. How to be a leader that gets people to be loyal and committed to them as an employer. So I have 5 different areas that I want to discuss, and I've written them down because they're all important. I want to make sure I go over each one with you thoroughly. And the first one is to lead by example and less by word. That's number 1. Here's why that's so important. We need to be the kind of leader where our team sets the example. If we want to be good at our team to be good at communication, then we need to be good at communication. If we want to have a team that's hardworking and loyal, then we need to be hardworking and loyal to them as well. Be willing to roll up your sleeves and get in the trenches with them. Let them see you be one of them and lead by example. Let's say it's a busy time of year and we've got a lot going on and we know that our team is overloaded and it's temporary, so don't really need to hire somebody. Well, then be willing to roll up your sleeves, sit side by side with them, and get the work done. We want to avoid the attitude that we're too good for that, right? We want to avoid, well, I don't do that. Because what this does is it tells our team that they're inferior to us and what they do is inferior to us. And we don't want to do that, right? We don't want to give them that impression. We want to lead by example that, look, we're a team. There is no task too small for any of us. We lock arms, we work in harmony with one another, and we get the job done until things get back to normal. And again, that's just one example, but again, lead by your example and not by just your words. So the number 2, and that's to teach, not scold, adjust, and not tear down. This is important because we're working with human beings and we need to be able to treat all human beings with a level of respect, don't we? And sometimes training and teaching is not always how to use a tool, how to use a piece of software, or how to process work, or to handle a phone call. Sometimes our training is how to be a good employee, right? Ethical. Sometimes it's, okay, so this is how this works. I pay you a paycheck and you come to work and you work for me in exchange for that paycheck. Our relationship has to be reciprocated, right? I do something nice for you, you do something nice for me. I'm loyal to you, you're loyal to me. Sometimes it's that kind of training. And when we have to do that kind of human training, which is the case a lot of times now, especially when we're working with the younger generation, it can be really frustrating. We can maybe get short, and we want to avoid that. Remember, they're human beings, and we need to treat them with a level of respect, the same kind of respect that we want in return. But in order to do that, we need to set the example. Because again, number 1, we lead by example and less by word. So teach, adjust, mold, don't scold and tear down, because we're going to lose them at that point. It also shows a level of disrespect for that human being. It could be that they just don't know. They were never taught those things. And so you've heard me talk about the diamond in the rough. If they're one of those employees that you know there's some really great possibility in there and they're going to be loyal to us and work for us year after year after year, it's worth investing a little time in the beginning to teach them what it means to be a good employee, to show up to work on time, to have good time management, to be committed during the day. Because look, if you commit to me, I'm going to commit to you too, right? It's worth taking the time to make those little adjustments with them and polish them up so that we get the kind of employee that we need. And then they also get good life skills. And they look at us as a teacher and a mentor, but we have to do that with kindness and with respect because they're human beings too, right? Okay, so number 3, it has to be approachable and encourage communication. There are always going to be issues that arise. We're dealing with imperfect human beings, whether it's in our client base or within the office or within our store. So when issues arise, We want to make sure that we're approachable and we have good communication. If our employees see us as scary and non-approachable, then they're not going to be so quick to approach us. They're going to wait till something really blows up, or they may just leave and we won't know it. And then we've lost a really good employee. So it's important for us to remember to be approachable and set the example in communication. Let them know, hey, look, my door is open. If you need me, come on in and talk to me. Sometimes the issue might be with us. Maybe we spoke out of turn. Maybe we said or did something that hurt their feelings or was offensive to them. We want them to be able to come and tell us this before it becomes a liability. A liability meaning that there's a complaint filed, a lawsuit filed, or they walk out on us when we need them and we actually valued them, but they never knew it, right? So we want to make sure, again, that human to human, we're approachable, and that we set the example of communication with our employees so that they know, hey, our door really is open, and that I want you to be able to come to me if there's a problem and we're going to get it fixed. They know that that's going to be the case, and that we genuinely care that they're happy in that position, that we want them to stay with us year after year after year, because that kind of longevity promotes growth from within. And I talk about growth from within a lot because we grow not just our client base, but from within our team. Because if our team doesn't grow, we can't handle that growing client base, right? You don't have the hands in place to service those clients. So it is important to have that kind of longevity. It also establishes the clients that, look, they've got a strong team there and they're good people. And that's the kind of people I want to work with, because I know every time I call that office or call that store, I get the same person, and I know that they're knowledgeable, friendly, and that they care about me. So remember, that's just good business too. Okay, next point, number 4, to value your team and your clients. Well, valuing your clients probably goes without saying, but sometimes I think we forget that we still need to value our clients. We need to say our pleases and thank you and treat them like they're the most important client that we have. Even though they might not be our top client, they're all important because they can refer us, right? They probably started with us when we were small, and they've been with us for a long time. Well, we value that kind of loyalty. But today we're really talking about being leaders. So let's talk about valuing our team. We want to value our team the same way we do our clients. We want to use our pleases and our thank yous and I appreciate you. And if you see that there's a one-off error or one-off communication or something's off, sit down and talk with them and say, you know, I just want to make sure that everything's okay. What's going on with you? And if there's a problem, then address it. But let them know, I value you. And don't just say it. Back it up by your actions. Make sure you pay them appropriately. Make sure that their benefits are in place. If you say you're going to do something for them, do it. Don't put it off. Remember their annual review, not months afterwards, but when it's due, because that lets them know, hey, look, I remembered when you started with me. I appreciate it. I'm so glad you're still here. I'm going to give you this. Let's get together. Let's talk. Let's have our review. Let's do our interview so I can give you credit where credit is due and maybe bump up their pay or add to their vacation time, something, right, to demonstrate that you value them as an employee. And certainly don't wait for them to come to you and be like, oh, it's been another year. When are we going to do my evaluation, right? But those little things make a great deal. If they have a life tragedy in their personal life, stop and express that you're sorry that that's happened. Express that you're there for them, and if they need anything, to let you know. If they get sick, if something happens, remember they're people and they want to be treated the same way that you are. So value your team, and they're going to value you in return and stick with you year after year after year. Number 5, remember humility is not a weakness, but it's a strength. Sometimes as a leader, we're automatically, in the order part of on the totem pole, we're up here as leaders, but we got to remember that just because we have to go down down the totem pole doesn't mean that what they do is not important, that they're not important, that they're somehow inferior or beneath us as human beings or even as employees, because the truth is we couldn't do what we do as a leader without them being there. So remember to be humble. Right? To say, I'm sorry if you've made a mistake. If you've misunderstood something, say, I misunderstood that. Or be open to suggestions on better way to do things and allow your team to grow. Sometimes leaders have a hard time letting go of authority, let it go. It's going to allow you to focus on the things you want to do the most and grow your business. But if you try to keep holding on to all those reins yourself and all that authority yourself, you're not going to be able to grow. You're going to have a limit. If you have qualified people in place that can handle that authority for you, let them do it. And there's a balance, and we can talk about this another time. There's a balance between letting go and not knowing what's going on in your business. Obviously, that would be off balance. You can still know what's going on in your business and touch base with them, but give them the authority to do what you've hired them to do and be a sub-leader, right? To give them a level of authority that will allow them to do their job and grow as well. Humble yourself in that way to know you don't know everything. Maybe they're in a department that you've never personally done, but they know how to do it. It's okay to be like, okay, why don't you take the lead in that then? But keep me updated, like let me know what's going on so that you've got a handle on what's going on. Because at the end of the day, it still falls on your shoulders. But let them grow. Let them feel like, okay, I'm moving up in my career, right? I'm taking on some more responsibility. I'm being acknowledged for that. And now I can teach others to do the same thing. But that's going to take humility on our part to let that go. But I highly encourage you to do so, because if you've got qualified people in place, don't waste their talents, because others are going to take those talents elsewhere. Okay? The reason I picked these 5 areas of focus is because we're wanting to create a relationship with our employees that's long lasting. And how do we do that? Well, we have to connect human to human. I say that all the time, right? Whether we're connecting with a client or whether we're connecting with a partner or whether we're connecting with our team. We have to connect human to human. So that means that in order to establish that longevity, they have to be loyal to us. They have to have a sense of commitment to us. Well, they have to like us in order to do that. And these are great ways to establish that, hey, look, we're human too. We value you. We like you. And we want you to like us back and value us back too as leaders, right? Because it has to be reciprocated. But we have to set the example and not just use the words. So in order to establish that kind of loyalty and commitment, they have to like us and be connected with us on a human level and know that we have their best interests at heart. We really do care about them as people and about their growth and about not just financially, but in their life as well and in their career as well. And that is where that keeping people year after year comes from. Not the kind of commitment or where they feel like if I don't do this, they're going to yell at me, but the kind of commitment and loyalty where I don't want to disappoint them because they've been so good to me. And I'm willing to take a little less money. I'm willing to take a little less benefits. I'm willing to put myself out a little bit more because they're so good to me, right? Because they value me, because they treat me well. And you will, if you can establish and perfect that recipe, you're going to have loyal employees year after year after year. And that's really what we want, because that's what's going to promote the most growth. For more coaching and tips, and if you have unique situations, please feel free to reach out to me as a business and employment coach. I'm seeing trends now where employees are starting to leave and they're reaching out to me because they're like, Teresa, I can't take this anymore. I need to make a move. Can you please help me? And they need a little navigation. But I'm seeing more of that than I am on the business side. I'm like, that's sad, because what can we do as leaders to keep them if we value them? If they're helping us make money and grow, why would we want to lose them? We want that knowledge, we want that talent to stay with us and not go to our competitors, right? Okay, well, again, please feel free to reach out to me with any questions or any topics that you would like for me to cover. I hope you have a fantastic week and keep that momentum going.